So, if you've clicked on this video, your editing probably looks something like this, or even this. I promise you that after watching this video, you would have learned at least one new thing that you can use when editing your own photos. So I'm basically just going to walk you through my editing process and show you how I get my photos from looking like this to this. Okay, so let's begin. So the first thing I always do is just start off using presets. So I'll look through any of my presets here to see which one suits the photo best, and we'll go from there. So for this photo, I've chosen number 31 from my preset pack, which you can get linked in the bio. So a little trick that some of you may not know is if you click these little buttons here and you adjust the highlights and shadows, it actually shows you where you're overexposing or underexposing. If it turns blue, you can see that you're underexposing your photos, and if it turns red, it's overexposed. The first thing I always do when editing a photo is I go to this profile tab here, and I always change it to vintage 1. It just gives it that dark, contrasty look. The next thing I do is I always go and play around with the exposure and contrast, highlights, shadows. I always make sure those look right before I carry on with the colors or anything like that. Then arguably the most important part of editing is masking. This could take your photos from looking like this to this. I always start masking by just dragging a linear gradient from the bottom all the way up to the subject and darkening it. Also reducing the saturation, which just emphasizes the subject, it makes the subject pop. Then often you have to look from where the sun or lighting is coming from, look at the shadows, and I like to take a radial gradient and just emphasize the sun or the light or any light source hitting the subject. So I will have this gradient and I'll increase the brightness, decrease clarity a little bit, and increase contrast. Then I like to take another linear gradient from the top, depending on if you have sky in the photo or what the surrounding of the photo is. I like to take this and either brighten it or darken it. In this situation, because there's a building, I'll darken it a little bit and reduce the clarity once again, just to bring focus onto the subject. Then the subject mask, probably the most important one. You want to have this looking perfect. So I always use the AI, it's pretty good usually. You can see it messes up a little bit, but it is pretty good. I always like bringing up the shadows on my subject because my editing style is usually pretty dark and contrasty. So I always like having some extra shadows in my photos, especially on the subject. So as you can see, there's some blues on the windscreen which I'm not happy with. So I'll just take a brush and desaturate and just go over the blues, go over the areas I'm not happy with the colors, and just take away the blue. If you like more of a foggy look, I'd recommend taking the curves and just at the bottom here, I'll just raise it up just a little bit, just to get that nice foggy look. So the subject's still looking a bit dark, so what I like to do is take another radial gradient and I'll just cover the car with some of the road and reshape that to fit. Then I'll slightly increase the exposure as well as the clarity and dehaze, just to make that car really pop. Now onto the colors. So the yellow of the car is still not popping as much, so I like to just increase the saturation, make sure the hue is right. Also, in all of my photos, I just remove the color blue, so I'll just desaturate both of the blues. If you want to take your photos to the next level, you don't have to do this, but cleaning up all the little spots and distractions on your photo can make your photo look so much better. Adobe's new generative AI for Lightroom is amazing at getting rid of these little spots, but you also still don't need it. There's lots of free apps and free ways to just get rid of all these spots and distractions. Once you're done cleaning up all the distractions, you're ready to export. It's pretty much done. Obviously you can make minor adjustments, fix up a few colors here and there, but generally this is when I'm finished editing. And basically I don't change much, I just pretty much leave it on the default settings, just make sure it's the highest quality possible, and then export. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and let me know if you have anything you want to see. Let me know some video ideas, let me know what to improve on. This is obviously my first video, so yeah. Thanks for watching.